Alright, here goes nothing. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this or not. I'm a little short on light here. And I'll have lights in the future at some point in time. But right now, I'm just going to go over oil line routing. Now, these Sportsters are all about the same since like 82, give or take. The routing's a little bit different. Your feed line for the oil pump runs down under the cases here, and it's going to run right up into this fitting under here on the oil pump. Your return line runs down behind the cam cover, kind of in front of the sprocket. If you see it right there, that's where your return line goes. I'm not going to go through making you watch me take this oil tank off because I want to clean it out. So I'm going to, you pull the battery box off. There's like 2 or 3 bolts on the battery box. And you got basically 3 mounts on the back of the oil tank. There's one back here. There's one up here at the top and one down at the bottom. You pull those off and pull the oil tank off. But just wanted to go over oil line routing. And then you got your gear case line, which comes off, fitting, points up, goes off the back of the gear case cover, runs up, and it goes to the top of the pump. Over here on the small, there's a small 1/4 inch line where it goes in the top. The oil line for the return goes back over here. Actually, it goes that's not it. There's one more line right here. It just doesn't go into anything. That's the gear case vent. There's a fitting on top of the cases there. It just goes into the atmosphere. Let me grab this real quick. That's your gear case or crankcase vent or primary vent right there. It just runs up to the back of the tank and really goes into nothing there. It's got a little holder where it points down, so it's not going to anything other than that little clamp that's right here, right there. Your return line is it's on this side of the tank over here. Towards the back top. If I can find the damn thing, that's the vent for the primary right there. All right, so I went ahead and pulled off the bolts off the battery box. It's just 5/16 18 bolts. There's 3 of them. 2 back here, 1 up in front, and there's a little rubber bushing down here at the bottom. Your the only thing on here is disconnect your Your tip over sensor is mounted right on the back of the battery box here. Plus, if this thing starts to go off, you'll have all kinds of ignition problems. It won't start. You won't be getting any spark. You can run these bypass and run them directly to ground just to bypass the switch, which I probably will do on this one. Because when they go out, you'll be riding down the road and the bike will just shut off. Because that's the ground for the ignition module, really. Well, not on this bike. On the stock one it is, but not with the aftermarket ignition. It doesn't use that. Anyway, that's where your tip over sensor is. And all it is I don't know if you can hear that. It's got a little ball in there that makes the ground. It's like a little channel in there that if the bike tips over so far, the ball falls out of the groove and it loses ground. Easy to bypass. Anyway, that's taking the battery box off. Your wiring harness, of course, is through here. That's your transmission vent line. That's the backbone of your frame there. Wiring harness. Disconnect that clip there. Get that out. And that right there is a vent that runs up to your gas tank. It's like an overflow thing. That overflow runs down the bottom of the bike basically. The only other thing you got on there besides that, your drain runs down to the frame on underneath for your oil drain. You'll need to disconnect that. It just makes it a lot easier if you take the rear fender off. You don't have to. You can get them out of there without taking the rear fender off, but the sub fender, I've already got that off and had it off, so it just makes it easier with it off. So when you go back through here, since you're going to have everything off anyway, it's a good time to check your battery positive cable and negative cable. The positive cable just runs straight to the starter. And check it out. Check the ends of it, clean them. Your negative cable runs down to one of the rear motor mount bolts. It's a good idea to inspect that thing really carefully too. What I like to do on them is I take them apart and put a star washer up underneath where it mounts down on the frame for the negative. And check the ends out too. A lot of times it'll have a little line across it where it's been mounted up to the battery, and vibration will make it weak right there. So if in doubt, get new cables. I usually go down to Napa and have them make them. It's cheaper. I can get them any size I want, and it's stupid cheap, and they'll make them the same day. My local Napa will anyway. I don't know about yours, but if not, check them out. I like to, if I'm getting new cables, I like to get the next size up over stock. A little bit sturdier, and they'll put nice copper ends on them. They do a really good job. Nice copper ends with heat shrink around the end of it. Very professional looking. But that's our oil tank. Taking it off. I got a couple more bolts to take off here. Actually, two more. And the two that are left are the rubber bushings. Let me pause this thing for a minute. Okay. So I got the rubber mount on the rear is loose. I'm going to take the one on the front off here now. All right. Now I actually had them two lines backwards, I think. This is the one going to the return line, and this is the feed line right here. Yeah, I had them backwards. Feed line runs right off. There's an elbow right there on the bottom of the tank, and shit, you know what? I think I forgot one rubber bushing there. Yeah, I did. I forgot there's 3 rubber bushings. There's one at the bottom, one at the back, and one at the top. And I got to pull this fitting off of the, that's for the oil drain, which is right down here at the bottom. I'll show you this in a minute once I get the oil tank off. I really hate these stock factory clamps on here. They're not a real easy place to get to take them off, and not in a real easy place to get to put them on either, to crimp the clamps over. Well, that's what they use. So I found that instead of trying to cut them, if you take a pick and just work them back and forth, they'll eventually break. Or loosen up enough so you can get them off. Now I've forgotten that on later models like this, the return line actually goes into a Y, where the drain fits in there too. So a little bit different between different years. Earlier ones, the return line has a fitting up here, right back here, that's welded in, and the line just goes straight up to it. This is a better system with the Y, and all it is a fitting with three tangs on it. One for the oil line going in from the return, one going down to the bottom of the bike for the oil drain, and this one going up to this elbow right here that goes into the back of the oil tank. And then it's got a tube that's welded in there that goes up to the top of the tank here and kind of elbows off it like a little bit rounded, so it actually dumps oil straight down. So I'll probably use some more line. I'll need whatever size this is, because this isn't 3/8. This is like a ½ inch, maybe even 5/8. I might have a piece of that laying around here. We'll see. One of them things from different year bikes. I can't remember when they changed that, 90, 96, 97 maybe. Could be 94 really. That's our oil tank off of there. So when you get these off, especially earlier ones, like probably 93 and earlier, or even earlier than that, they had a problem with where the mounts are mounted on, where you get bikes that were leaking oil out of the oil tank where it would have cracked around where it was welded. And there's one where there's a mount like right here, and it kind of elves up, and just welded the tank, and it'd be cracked right around where they welded it, and just dripping, and you'd have a bike that no matter what you did, you couldn't figure out where it was leaking from. It's leaking from the oil tank. But that's our oil tank. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to wash this thing out with diesel fuel and then lacquer thinner and then probably hot soapy water, and not probably, with hot soapy water a bunch of times until it's clean. You want to check out your rubber mounts. I'll probably go ahead and replace these. They're about dry rotted. They're all distorted. So it's a good idea to go ahead and replace those. You got 1, 2, 3. And then your 3 hard mounts, which are here, here, and here. 1, 2, 3. And then that's rubber mount there, and rubber mount up here. Now I was wrong. Hard mount, rubber mount. Okay, that's it. All right, you go in the house now. Clean that thing up tomorrow. So check your, while you get everything off there, if anything's rusted up under there, sand it off, just throw a little paint on it. And check your wiring harness, make sure it ain't rubbed through nowhere. Make sure when you put it back together, make sure you're not pinching it behind the battery box and the little thing. That's rubber mount there. And this one's still in the frame there. And I'll be getting three new rubber mounts because they're all a little bit cracked, dry rot cracked. Actually, I probably don't need to because he ain't riding this thing on the street, but I'm gonna get him anyway. Sometimes what will happen to these rubber mounts, it's just a piece of steel molded into the rubber. Where it's molded at will actually come apart, so the mount's still there, but the little steel piece that's molded into the rubber actually comes out of the rubber, kind of delaminates or whatever. And if you need those, you'll need those. And we'll probably be going over this, just touching up the frame wherever it's got any little bit of rust on it or whatever. Checking it out real good for cracks somewhere. If you see, they usually rust. They'll usually rust back in here somewhere where the seats comes together, or up around here where the front seat mount is. Like I said, these frame rails back here are bent, so they'll probably be, I don't know if I'm going to cut them off or not. I might try and heat them up and straighten it back. Now, a long time ago, you know, insurance companies, you tell them the frame was bent, and you write it in the estimate, you know, 2 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours, whatever, straighten the frame, that the frame rails are bent, and the insurance companies would pay it. Nowadays, nope. Any bend at all, they replace them. I mean, stupid little bends on big twins or soft tails, that little tab where the motor mounts up at the front of the frame there, that thing's bent. It's like, it's not even 3/16 of an inch thick. So anytime the bike hits the ground, of course it bends it. Now all you gotta do is take a hammer and bend it back. And sometimes they'll tear and you can just TIG weld it back in place. Insurance companies used to pay to fix those. Not anymore. But that's neither here nor there, really. We got this bike at salvage, and it was, front end was trashed. Somebody hit it pretty damn hard. The engine guard was tweaked all the way around the side. It mashed the front pipe in two. And forks were bent all to hell. The front wheel was actually kinked. I had a 21-inch front wheel, and the wheel was kinked at like a 45-degree angle, so the guy hit the curb or whatever pretty damn hard. Hit something hard. But we got it fairly decent price. And, well, I say it was decent at the time. Now, with the way the market is, nah, it isn't decent. It was way overpriced for what we got compared to what you could buy now for rideable with less money than we got it, and I ain't got a ton of money into it. But you could buy something with a clear title for basically what I'm going to have into this thing, as far as, you know, replace the fork tubes, the front wheel we got for free. Fork tubes I got used ones for less than $100 for a set of tubes. And a set of used drags pipes I think we got for $20 maybe. So we cheaped out on a lot of stuff. And other than front base gasket pouring and crappy fucking ultimate ignition, everything was pretty good. We had bars here. Of course, the tank has a big dent right on the top of it, and the fenders don't match the color of the tank. So we got 3 different colors fenders on here, 2 different fenders and different tank. But we're gonna paint them probably black and gold, because black and gold looks good. It's classic. Of course, it had chrome rocker boxes and chrome cam cover and chrome primary. But I've got a black primary I'm putting back on here that we got used. It came with a bunch of parts we got used, but because part where the clutch cable goes into the primary was stripped, so we'll fix that. And the cam cover, I'm probably painting it black. Rocker boxes, we'll be painting this or rough them up and paint them black. I like black like that. It's easy to take care of, easy to clean, looks good. But that's enough ranting about that. Just that's it for pulling the oil tank. And go back, like I said, I'm going to wash the tank out and do whatever. So that's enough of that. If you like my content, like, share, subscribe, comment. Appreciate it. You guys take care.